Welcome to this Tangram sneak peek video, and today we are going to be looking at TrafficLIVE, and we're going to be looking at how TrafficLIVE manages retainers. Now, TrafficLIVE brought out some specific functionality for managing retainers nearly 2 years ago now. Not all of the TrafficLIVE's customers are using this functionality, but more and more features have been added, and it is a nice, tidy way of keeping your retainers reportable, and also making sure that you can still leverage project structures, have retained and non-retained people logging on time on jobs without having to worry about how that impacts your reporting. So let's take a little look here at how these retainers are structured. Well, first of all, we do need to set up a retainer control job. And with this control job, we're actually going to load in the whole of our annual retainer fee as an estimate, and this is actually the job that we're going to be running our retainer reports from, and the job that we're going to be billing our retainer from each month. So in this example, let's go into our retainer fee job and have a look at the key things we need to do differently to set up a retainer control job in TrafficLIVE. Well, first of all, I've called the job Retainer Fee 2017. Next, I've actually ticked this retainer job box. So by retainer job here, it means this is the parent of the retainer. So any jobs that come in or briefs that come into our agency that relate to a retainer or this retainer, I would actually need to be clicking edit and linking them to this retainer job. So here I've ticked retainer job. Now I also want to use the start date and the internal deadline to put in the duration of my retainer. So in this example, we're doing an annual retainer. So this is running from January to December 2017. And we have this retainer job ticked. All of the other fields you would just fill out as usual. Now over in the time tab here, I've used a simple stage to group all of my retainer line items together. And what we have under here is the whole year's worth of retainer fee. So in this example, we have a full annual retainer of just over $50,000. And what I've done is I've added tasks to break down the different charge bands. And in this case, also the different tasks that those charge bands are doing as part of the retainer negotiation. Now, what this means is each month I'm able to raise my invoice from this single control job. I'm able to collapse it nice and easily onto a single line item. And I just come up to here and I bill 8.33% each month of the retainer. So what we get here is if I go to my issued invoices, I can see all of my invoices so far this year sitting in here. So back in the time tab, one tip we have is just to mark all of these tasks off as complete. This allows you to keep the job open, which you may wish to do, and it also allows us to make sure that nobody logs time directly to this retainer control job. So this is us set up this retainer parent or control job, and now of course throughout the year you're going to have briefs come in that are going to need to be take money out of this retainer part. So in order to show you that, I'm just going to go over to this mobile banking concept development that we've done and show you in here how this would look. So the first thing we do is when we set this job up is we give it the job name as normal, but we're actually coming straight into link to parent retainer edit, and this is actually where we set up a link to the retainer fee 2017 parent job. Now that we've established this link, we would of course complete all of the other fields as usual, and then we're actually going to go over to the time tab and we're going to estimate out everything that's going to take to deliver this concept. What we really like about this area is when we add in our task, we actually able to put in the task name and the charge band as usual, but because this job is linked to a retainer, we actually need to select the retainer parent task that this should deplete from, or that this relates to. What's great about that is it means that we can have these non-retained tasks on here where we don't select a task on the retainer to measure this against. Now, once I've set up this production job that is relating to my parent, I can actually just traffic this and log time to this as usual. So I've set up what I think it's going to take in terms of hours. I get people scheduled on these jobs, and they will be logging timesheets to these jobs as normal, whether on those non-retained tasks or on those retained tasks. As the job finishes, of course, I won't be billing it, but I'll just be coming in and changing this to complete once the job has finished. Back in my parent job here, I would actually be running my report that allows me to see how we're tracking against the retainer. And to run the report, we just come over here to go more actions, job reports, and we're looking for the retainer report. The TrafficLIVE team are able to provide you the code for this report should you not have this information. So what we're now looking at is the standardised monthly retainer report that the TrafficLIVE developers have developed to go alongside this functionality. What we get here is a breakdown of total, and then month by month, what is our estimated value of work versus what's our actual, and then we get a variance here. Now this is displayed in hours and in dollars. So up here, for example, we can see our total retainer figure is $50,800. We've spent around $25,000 so far, leaving us with just nearly $26,000 left on the retainer. However, in January, our retained fee of $4,233, we actually burnt against that $11,293. So we get a nice variance here, showing us exactly where our challenges might be in terms of the months. And we can see that across all of the hours as well. What we then get is a charge band breakdown that helps us understand by billable role or charge band, actually what does this look like. So month by month, where is that overspending and underspending against the retained roles? And then finally, for production jobs, it allows us to come in and see an actual breakdown of the job progress and all of those jobs that have been included in the retainer. So for each of those jobs, we're able to see an estimate in dollars and hours, and we're then able to see a value of work spent. So these are really the highlights of the TrafficLIVE retainer functionality. The thing that we like about it most is that you are able to have non-retained and retained roles working on a single brief and a single job. And we also really like the fact that we can still structure our projects and jobs to track them in the most efficient way, as well as actually being able to pull and draw down from the retainer via this report. Thanks for tuning in to this sneak peek, and we will see you again next time.